Alright, now, what I'm about to do right now may be pretty dumb, but I'm going to prove a point. And as I leave my house, and that's where I filmed one of my videos, which I'll probably annotate later, I always like to say that I live within a walking distance of 3 Starbucks. And as you can tell, this is a pretty quiet residential neighborhood. You know, you wouldn't think that there would be any 3 Starbucks anywhere around here, but I'm actually going to attempt to walk all this while this video is running. And along the way, I'll pass on some tidbits of some of the buildings I pass and things like that. And let's see. So this is going to be a long video, and hopefully it's an entertaining one. Now, the house over there where those orange cones are, out there, that used to be owned by Juanes, the Colombian pop singer. And I don't think it was, well, obviously it wasn't his primary residence, and I don't know if he had it just as an investment property. He sold it a few years ago, lucky to get out at the top of the market. And I never did see him there. It was a limo once or twice. I remember seeing a limo out there. But, you know, maybe he just bought it for his family, or, you know, just to have a place out here. I'm not 100% sure. Alright. This house here has a little bit of historical value to it. The Burdines family that went on to form the Burdines department store chain, which was bought out by Macy's, now it's Macy's, but anyone in Florida knows Macy's as Burdines. It used to be owned by their family. Someone in the Burdines family. I don't remember. I remember coming to this open house many years ago and they explained it to me, but I forgot. Now, I'm sorry for getting the Blair Witch Project feel out of this handheld cam. I'm never one with a steady hand, and obviously it's not going to be a lot better now that I'm walking. But, you know, I have to hit these 3 Starbucks locations to prove my point by foot. And we're coming up on the other side of the intersection is the University of Miami campus, which is where I went to school in the 1980s, late 1980s. And we'll be walking through the campus to get to the first Starbucks. And on the other side of this trellis, there's a tiny little park. Now, of course, it's obviously an insult of a park. It's just pretty much a picnic table and a nice tree, just a nice shady tree. But here at Coral Gables, they had Easter egg hunts last month, and they said that they were distributing the eggs evenly amongst, I think it was about 15, 16 different parks, city parks. And I knew nobody would go there because this place is, you know, we have real parks here, not a little passive park like that. And so we went out there. It was great. I mean, it's like every kid had his whole basket full, and there was like still a ton of eggs unclaimed on the floor after the hunt. So it was pretty cool. And this is the Arboretum part of University of Miami. A lot of plenty of trees here. All over from Latin America. For instance, here we have, wow, I can't even pronounce that. Apokinase? Okay, Pinmala, that sounds better, from Southeast Asia. Okay. So around here, it's a little walking garden they have out here with trees from all over the world. This one, Yang Lang from Indonesia. All right. Yeah, this is an international campus here. Even the trees come with passports. And hey, looks like a piece of lemon down there. Then again, with these trees, who knows what it is? It's probably some weird fruit from somewhere in Europe that I've never heard of. Anyway, this is the University of Miami campus. It's obviously not as old as many of the other campuses around the country. I don't know what year this was built in exactly. It originally started over at the youth center, closer to downtown Coral Gables, and then they moved it here in this nice big campus right off US 1. And now we're going to turn and start going through the buildings to get to the first Starbucks. Now we're 5 minutes in, and by my run, by my watch, I think we're going to be covering a little more than 2 miles here. I have my iPhone with me in case if I need to switch to that video, in case if this video camera runs out. But hopefully I'm trying to do this all in one take. You know, and not to see that to prove that I can hit the 3 Starbuckses, I really need the exercise. So we're going to be cutting through the quiet part of the campus. Right now it's a Monday morning, around 10:30. It's a nice day, not too hot. And yes, I was here from 1985. Oh, a cat. I hope he got his degree. Oh, he's eating. I hope that's a sandwich. Galileo. I got my degree in Bachelor's in Business Administration in actually winter of '88. I finished in 3.5 years. And then I was ready to go into the real world, but I got a graduate assistant scholarship. I scored really well on my GMAT, which is the test you take to go to grad school in the business school. So basically, offered to pay me to go to school for my master's, which is pretty cool, to have a complete master's degree paid for. And I forget how much it was a month to, do work with professors and stuff like that. Yeah, I was one of those GAs that students hate. Thankfully, none of them had me, teach test or grade test or teach their classes for anything for them. I just went up to the library, did a lot of research for them and stuff like that. It was pre-internet, so it actually involved a bit of legwork to actually get research done back then. But the upshot is, by the summer of 1990, I had an MBA on my belt, which helped me out later in life. I have nothing bad to say about the school. Okay, now here's this fountain. If you ever see any University of Miami videos, and you may see them, oh cool, look at all these hammocks. This is pretty new. I mean, this is actually very new. I hadn't seen them. You can actually lay out on a hammock, which I may feel like doing at the end of the long walk I have. This sound appears in just about every UM video. And by UM video, I'm saying if you're watching a University of Miami football game, they'll have a video from each campus, like from us, and let's say we're playing North Carolina, they'll have a UNC video. Guarantee you that fountain's going to show up. And now this big building here, coming up here, like 8-9 stories, is the library. And we're going to cut through it. And by the 10-minute mark here, we'll be at the first Starbucks. And Coca-Cola is making a delivery. Because, it's early May. And even though most of the graduation is taking place around here, the graduation over the weekend and stuff, I guess there's still some classes going on because I see people going into buildings. And obviously soft drinks to be dispensed. Alright, this is the Otto G. Richter Library. I don't know who Richter is. We've never had an earthquake here, so obviously it's no relation to the Richter scale. And we're closing in on the first Starbucks. And this library, I know the second floor houses an amazing amount of books, Hispanic books from also about the Cuban Revolution and all that stuff. It's all in the second floor. Very popular area here in this library. But here we go, Starbucks number 1. And they're probably not going to let me film in here. But I may as well. Good morning, Starbucks. Alright, so from here we go to next stop, which is the second Starbucks. And it's about maybe 3 or 4 blocks from here. It's off campus, so I'm gonna have to walk through the campus. I'm not sure what that Smile Be Happy thing is about. If there's an Operation Smile here, or they're just hoping kids who just graduated from here are not nervous about the work environment that they're getting into. That's the Gusman Concert Hall. Not to be confused with the Gusman Center that's in downtown Miami. But in there they have all the students, music students, they have their music recitals. They have a few, you can show those jazz concerts. I've seen Chick Corea play there. I can't forget everyone else. I can't remember everyone else I've seen there, but I've seen a few shows in there. Campus post office. And bookstore.
If one of them has the higher expense.
And this is the Witten University Center that we're passing. We're not going to go into it. We're just going to sidestep it. But, you know, upstairs is here where the WVUM radio station is, the University of Miami newspaper. 2 things I actually were part of when I was an undergrad here. But we're not going to go there. We're going to go straight on through. And this is the University of Miami Business School right there. I had a lot of classes, especially my junior, senior years, and most of my graduate school days were spent in that building. And it was a pretty good time to be a business major back in the late 1980s, because that's what most of the football players did, and that was when UM had the national championship teams. I had Michael Irvin in the class, Jerome Brown. I had him as a senior. He was a senior when I was a freshman in the class. Pretty cool school. There's a bus system here which picks people up and takes them places. It would have been a lot easier to take that to get to these 3 Starbucks locations, but I digress. Now this is the beginning of Lake Osceola. Now I remember once in a while you sometimes see alligators in here. Or crocodiles. I do forget the difference. I wasn't really good with biology and marine biology and all the animal stuff and the reptilian things. But they do sometimes wash up shore here. That big building back there is one of the dorms, one of the 4 towers. And now this area right here, once a year, they turn into an arts festival, usually right around Martin Luther King weekend. And it's pretty cool. It's a Beaux-Arts festival. And we come out mostly to get the free kettle corn. Not free kettle corn, we have to pay for the kettle corn, but they do nice warm popped kettle corn. The same elderly couple comes in and pops it every time. I always think it's going to be their last year, and sure enough, they show up the next year. Godspeed to them. And that's the Lowe's Art Museum. And yeah, definitely not in the shape I used to be back in my UM days, where I could cross campus back and forth without breaking a sweat. Anyway, we're getting close to the other edge of the campus here. And here's where they have the religious buildings. This is the Methodist, the Wesley building for Methodist students. They have different things for different denominations right around this area. And over here you have the dorms, the Mahoney Pearson Towers. Actually, we passed it, so I'm not going to go back to it. But right around Lake Osceola was Eaton Hall, where I spent a year. Here's the Baptist Student Center. Now up ahead, you're going to start seeing traffic because we're going to get to US 1. And that's going to be probably the only really meaty intersection that I'm going to cross. I'll cross some other ones, but that's the one where I'm going to have to really respect the lights. And there's a squirrel going up the tree, but I don't know if you can catch it or not. And Episcopal's Canterbury Center. I told you. All denominations. And now you're going to see the Metro Rail crossing. That's our mass transit subway, over-the-ground subway system. I guess it's not a subway, but you know, light rail, I guess we can call it. And I remember when it first opened, they called it Metro Fail, because to get it past, they had to run it through you know, some pretty gritty neighborhoods around here to get it past, so they'd have the funding for it. And so I went to areas where people necessarily didn't need the mass transit system, or weren't really up for it. But these days, it actually does get a pretty fair deal of use, especially during basketball games, since this place essentially goes right to the stadium. Now I'm gonna, do I make a go for it? No, I'm gonna wait it out. You know, I think I could actually go after this car here. Oh, they're turning left. It's my left. Well, actually I can do it. Okay, so we're already 17 minutes into this video. The longest video you'll probably ever see me post on YouTube. And I know for sure I've lost most of you out there. But I'll try to make the rest of this trip a little extra entertaining, exciting, and for those of you who stuck it through. Okay, now we're getting to US 1. This is obviously the same US 1 that goes up from here all the way up the country, really. And this right here used to be a Burger King. Now it's a Stir Moon, which is kind of a noodle shop. They do Thai and Japanese food. And this is Book Horizons, where, whoa, they should really fix that. Where people buy and sell a lot of books, used books here. Give you better rates in the bookstore. But these days, they just sell a lot of UM paraphernalia here. So if you need your UM shirt, law school shirt, anything you need, it's here. And this is Moon Thai, which is owned by Stir Moon, the same people. But as promised, Starbucks number 2 is here. And Starbucks. Free frappuccinos on me, everybody. Okay, now I said I live near 3 Starbucks. Actually, there's 4. Because I can go northeast that way, and there's one that's about 6 or 7 blocks down. But I really don't know too much. There's really mostly residential buildings. There's not really a lot of stuff I can talk about on the way over there. Plus, it also moves me sort of away from my way back home. So this 2+ mile trek, I'm actually going the long way to the 3rd Starbucks. So And right here, this is US 1, which is where we're going to be hugging this for most of the time until we get to Red Road, which is actually the barrier. It separates Coral Gables from South Miami, at least in this stretch of town. And of course, there is no such thing as a college campus without a Denny's nearby for those late night binges. So far, so good. 20 minutes in, I hit 2 of the Starbuckses. You know, in all honesty, it's probably going to take me about another 20 minutes to get to the last one. So I can probably see you dropping off right now. But, let's make this interesting. There's a lot of cool buildings here. Alright, cool in the sense of commerce. It's not, there's really like some cool historical funky building. Coral Castle is probably the only cool funky building on US 1, and you have to go maybe 20 miles in this direction to get there. If you've never heard of Coral Castle, it's in Homestead, and it's a castle that this, I think it was from Germany, a German immigrant built for his love. And he basically, hey, Blockbuster, enjoy it now. I don't think this place will be here next year. And what happened at Coral Castle is, I can't pronounce the guy's name, but he's a German immigrant. To show his love for this his fiancée, he built this castle made out of coral. And no one knows how he moved the pieces, no one knows how he did it. He worked alone, worked at night, carved the coral all by himself. And Billy Idol even had a song dedicated to the whole Coral Castle thing. And that's a palm frond. It's a pretty big one. Which I guess is one of the... You're never short of palm trees out here in Miami and the Coral Gables area. Of course, they are terrible to have here when it's during hurricane season, because they really are all over the place. And since I'm given a history of everything that happened here, I guess I should be thorough. This is Mariposa Court. They're supposed to be building a big bridge from the mozzarella over to this shopping center here where the Fridays and the Bagel Emporium and the Chicken Grill is. Because right here, right on this intersection, a couple years ago, a University of Miami student got killed crossing the street. And it wasn't her fault, it was a car that took a red light. So there's a whole big groundswell about building a crossing so UM students can get over to this building over here. And to other stuff on this side of US 1 as well. Like Sunset Place further down that we're going to go by. And other buildings, obviously. And, you know, to Denny's, I guess. Alright, we're 23 minutes into this and the battery's holding up, so I may not have to switch over to the iPhone. And that's actually the university stop at the Metro station. There's 3 more going southbound before it ends. There's a Sunset stop and 2 Dateline, Dateline South, Dateline North. And then the trains switch around and then go all the way back to pretty much a good chunk of North Miami. In the plans, it's extended all the way to, well, it's Sun Life Stadium now, where the Dolphins and the Marlins play. But it probably won't be ready by the time the Marlins are out of there, but obviously with this, the economy budgeting isn't going to make it that easier. Okay, so cars here, obviously. This is US 1. This goes, if it goes about 3-4 miles down, it hops up to I-95, the beginning of I-95. They run pretty regularly this hour. So if at US 1 you take it a few miles down, it actually bleeds right into the beginning of I-95, which is the same I-95 that stretches all the way up through DC to New York City. Well, to New York, outside of New York City, and all the way up to Canada. Holiday Inn. Which on the other side of the University of Miami campus, you really can't see it from here, but it's, you know, it's on the other, about a mile out from the north of it. There's the Biltmore Hotel, which is Coral Gables' you know, ritziest hotel. They use it in a lot of movies and stuff like that, and has the biggest swimming pool. It gets a lot of use. If you ever see it in a postcard, you'll probably recognize it. Holiday Inn obviously isn't one of our finer hotels here, but it's been around for a while as a Holiday Inn. And I'll be ashamed to say one day I took my wife to dinner here on a date night. I don't know why, but it was kind of like we didn't know where to go or what to do kind of thing. I decided to live like a tourist for dinner, so it wasn't the best use of babysitting, I'll admit. No, it's not like we even had a room or anything. We just came in and then went back home. I am so lame. We are getting closer. If not, I'd be going the wrong way. One neat thing about this Holiday Inn, well, actually a story I can share. I worked for the University of Miami Hurricane. I was a features editor, and before that I was a features writer before I got made it editor. One of the cool things we did there, sorry, I had to sprint so I don't get run over by the bends. Playboy decided to do a pictorial of the girls of the South, and I got the juicy appointment of having to cover it, so I went over there and interviewed the photographer, and they actually did all their interviews from the Holiday Inn. They obviously you couldn't do these interviews on the campus, so students would come over across the street over there and do the interview. Yeah, that was back in the 1980s when people still read Playboy. And here, you know, Gables has a lot of waterways. This, you know, it's basically, you know, you have certain bridges to get out to the open water, but the closer you get to water, the more expensive the real estate values around here are. And that building right over there is a Metrobank. Really? It used to be a University Inn. And there was a time in the late 80s, one fall semester where the University of Miami took in too many students to live on the campus. So some of them got shipped off to Biltmore, which I guess are the lucky ones, and some of them got shipped off here. Even though I interviewed some of the kids in the Biltmore and they weren't happy about it, because they had to shuttle in through shuttles, little buses that bus them in and out of campus. Even though they really had a really sweet hotel to stay in until the rooms were ready, you know, a few weeks, months later. The good thing is that you can't see me break a sweat. Oh, there you did. You saw me break a sweat, which is pretty good. I definitely should be doing more exercise like this. Obviously not bringing the camera with me or anything. And obviously more rigorous than just, you know, walking around town. But, you know, this is a start. My mother-in-law passed away in January, and she'd always said, you know, go out, exercise, go, you know. So, you know, I owe her this much. Obviously not the whole Starbucks thing, but she was an amazing woman, so So the least I can do is to make sure I don't put on more weight. But we are starting to slowly get to livelier part of civilization. Right now we're at the 30-minute mark of this video. And yes, I am allowed to post videos longer than 10 minutes. Part of the YouTube Partners program. So I may have to trim down the resolution of this clip. So we're here at the Santana Corner building. And the only reason I really know that is because they're always advertising in the business section of the Miami Herald every Monday, letting people know that they have 30% availability. It's been 30% availability for a while. As you can imagine, there's not a lot of demand for corporate commercial real estate. And though it is a pretty cool building, now, the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video when I get to that third Starbucks. I'll probably stop and grab lunch or something when out in that area, and then walk back home. I'll spare you the walk. And right now, this place with the hurricane flags, it's smoke apostrophe T. Some people call it smoke tea or smoke it. But I'm pretty sure they meant smoked. It used to be a bunch of different places. Most recently a JJ's Diner that got refashioned to the Southern Kitchen. They do some pretty good stuff, some beef brisket and stuff like that. They have like onion rings with chili on top. They serve it's like a nacho kind of plate with a chipotle dressing and stuff, except they use onion rings instead of tortilla chips. Pretty cool. Have live music on Fridays and Saturdays. And now we have a gas station. Which is actually one of the few full-service gas stations in town. Now, I don't know why that guy was pumping in the full gas station. He's probably paying a premium for that. Unless this is one of those places that charge the same, but you know how it goes. Alright, this is the Bank of America building. I say the Bank of America building as if it's one of the dozens and dozens of Bank of America buildings we have around town. Bail out. One way, do not enter. Is that for your money or for the cars? Now this is Miami's Best Pizza. Now, I didn't really say it was Miami's Best Pizza. I mean, that's the name of the place. It's Miami's Best Pizza. It's 1970. And this building actually started out as a Little Caesars. Before Little Caesars were big, they were like one of the first franchises down here in the South. And then Little Caesars went to like some standard franchising programs, so they said, no, we're going to make pizzas our way. Pizzas taste nothing like Little Caesars. They are pretty good. I wouldn't call them the best in Miami. They probably wouldn't even crack the top 5, but definitely top 10. And of course, this is the Five Guys that's yet to open. Yeah, the Virginia chain has been pretty much open here all over the place lately. So they became Miami's Best Pizza. Kept the name. And it's actually been right there, right in front of the university for a while. Maybe one of the oldest restaurants here. Denny's is pretty old too. And here's Misha's Cupcakes. Really great cupcakes. If you're into buttercream, that's the place to go. Misha started a home, that's her name, she started a home business and delivering to places like in the Dayland Mall and stuff like that, and it grew and it grew, and this is like her first bakery cafe. And then you have Subway and my Yogurt Bliss, which is sort of like a Cold Stone Creamery for yogurt. Gable's Pizza and Salad with the unfortunate GPS initials. It's about the 4th pizza place that's opened in that spot over the last 10 years. Okay, and this is a theater. I actually saw the spelling, the Putnam County Spelling Bee, 25th anniversary of Spelling Bee. I saw it in this theater back there. It used to be a movie theater back in the day, the Riviera Theater. Like a twin cinema. I think it was a twin cinema. But then it closed down. Like so many things out here. And now it's a stage. Live theater. And now we're going to go by one of the few places that is actually surprising that it actually has stuck around this long. This is Specs Records and Tapes. Now, that blue building up there, you see all the way up there? That used to be a Virgin Records store. It died a couple years ago. Specs has been around. I don't know how long this building has been here. It was definitely here when I was in UM. You know, back when people were still buying vinyl and then moved to CDs, and even now when people are downloading, they still find a way to survive. And it used to be a place to go to get tickets. So it used to be a Ticketmaster outlet. This one says it's also been here for a while. Back in my high school days, older than that probably. Now we're at the 37-minute mark. My guess is that we'll be at that Starbucks at the 45-minute mark. Now before you tell yourself, 45 minutes, that's a long way to walk for a cup of coffee. Keep in mind that these are 3 different Starbucks I'm talking about. You know, I could have hit either one. Well, I could have hit this one in like half the time. And the other 2, obviously, I could have been there in 10, 15 minutes if I wanted to. So this is Wendy's. One of the first Wendy's that started doing the breakfast thing. Now, do I run? No, I'm not going to make it. Yes, I am. I'm a daredevil. All right, done. I hope you took some Dramamine for that part. I know it couldn't have been pretty to watch as I started across Red Road. But surely enough, in crossing Red Road, I have left Coral Gables and I'm now in South Miami. This used to be Virgin Records store. Then it was a bodies exhibit. You know that exhibit with all the Chinese cadavers, medical cadavers, framed as art? And then it's been vacant ever since. Every Halloween it becomes a Halloween store. Spirit takes it over. It's a big space and this mall can't get someone to get stuck in there. Best Buy was thinking about it, but it would have been a bad idea. You have to actually pay to park in this mall. No one wants to pay to go into a Best Buy. And there's Whole Foods. I'm going to probably annotate a clip. They have a really cool escalator to take your food up to the 2nd floor if you parked in the 2nd floor, which is where the parking really is over there. Very cool, very sweet. Obviously Whole Foods, which everyone else calls Whole Paycheck, for their ability to gouge you in the name of organics. But they have some really incredible prepared foods there, including a really good tortilla soup. That they serve it so hot, I always have to double or triple cup it. And no, that's not a dirty slang. That's what I actually have to do. Put 2 or 3 of those little styrofoam cups so I don't burn my hand. Now this place right here, it looks like there may be something going on in here. At least I see perfumes there. This used to be a cheeseburger in paradise. Which is actually a pretty good place to get a nice little cheeseburger, some good shakes. Obviously a good deal of margaritas in homage of Jimmy Buffett. But it's gone. So now I'm going to cut through. This is Sunset Place. And again, this is another place where I've used in my videos. if you actually look at the bowling 3 ways video, which surprisingly enough has like 158,000 video views, my second most watched video, and I think it's people taunting my kid's bowling ability, but you know, we'll take the views and I'm gonna put it in his college fund. That's the GameWorks up on the top floor, where they have the Hyper Bowl and the Pro Striker games. Here's some pretty little fountains. And if you've ever seen my stuff at City Search, I have a picture. My picture is actually standing out in front of there where there's some little fishes behind the wall. I took a photo back there. One day my son came out to see a movie and Johnny Rockets, and he took a snapshot of me over by those fishies that I used for my City Search bio. But you know, we're almost there. I guess I should be embarrassed that it took me about 40-some minutes to walk these 2 miles, but you know, at least I'm holding my voice. At least I'm able to talk through all this. I thought I'd be a lot more gassed at this point. And that's Dan Marino's restaurant. He owns several, so I'm not going to say it's the Dan Marino restaurant. I remember one of the first ones that ran in like Boca. Okay, I'm walking out. No, I didn't think I'd get a security guard to tell me I couldn't film. It's at an open air mall, but we're done, so I'm gonna keep filming. And actually I can cross here to get to the Starbucks. Did you see the little green cup? Oh yeah. Nirvana. Bliss. You know I hate coffee. I should have probably told you that from the beginning. The fact that I live near 3 Starbucks doesn't mean I'm a patron. Patronage. I'm not a patron. I don't drink the Starbucks coffee. My wife loves this stuff. I wound up getting a Vivano smoothie. Sometimes I'll settle for a Frappuccino, which after a nice warm walk isn't such a bad idea right now. Oh, and I didn't actually get to it, but the Latin American headquarters of Starbucks is down that way, about 2 blocks. I crossed Red Road a little earlier than I was going to plan on, so. So let's hit this third and final Starbucks. Complete the trilogy at 43 minutes and 31 seconds. Nope. I think I was ready to take my order, and I'm not going to drink a coffee. Sorry, Starbucks. But that's it. 3 Starbucks, walking distance. Oh, now I got to get home. I can't believe we made it out this far, but we did hit the 3 Starbucks. All walking distance, and this is suburban Miami, Coral Gables, South Miami. Bye.